Zemes draugi. Man būtu tādi 3 jautājumi. Tas viens ir, pastāv mīts, kad lietojot ģēmo pārtiku, kuņģi suva to sašķeļ un tas neuzsūcās zarnās. Vai tā ir taisnība? Ja tā nav taisnība, vai šis svešais proteīns iesūcās tā kā mūsu organismā šūnās, un vai tas var ietekmēt mūsu DNS, kas ir tas būtiskākais jautājums. Tātad, vai lietojot ģēmo pārtiku, tā var ietekmēt mūsu DNS. Un otrs jautājums ir par raundapu. Latvijā to izmanto diezgan daudz, un tomēr izmantot graudas kaltēšanas procesā, tā kā aizvietojot pašu kalti, graudi tiek apstrādāt ar raundapu. Kāds būtu jūsu komentārs par to? Paldies!
First of all, let me take the opportunity of this question to thank again Friend of the Earth for this initiative, for inviting me, and I think that all over the world there is people working in environment, sometimes defended, like in Latvia by the Ministry of Environment, that are very important to make understand by the people that there is another world beside the big companies, and that we should take care about the future generations and the present poor generations. So it's very important. And the environment is just the other face of ourselves. Secondly, I would say that this problem of DNA and GM DNA inside the gut has been studied quite extensively by the University of Napoli, and Federico Infascelli and Raffaella Tudisco, who had published recently a study on goats. Goats that have eaten GM during several weeks, and they have found in muscle the DNA of the GM. It was shown that we are all taking DNA of what we eat, but that doesn't transform our body in the same time. So it's just an indicator that there is no real separation in what we eat and what we become. But that doesn't transform the species, of course. But if the DNA goes through, the pesticides can go through. And if we don't know the toxic effects of the DNA, we know the toxic effects of the pesticides. So it's just an indicator that we are sponges of our environment. You know, there is no 1 kilogram of living body inside the earth that has no about 50 pollutants in the body, in the fat. Not only DNA, but a lot of pollutants are coming in our bodies. We have made a study with baby genes, and we have seen that in the placental cells, before the birth, there were already 400 pollutants coming from outside. Plasticizers, pesticides, heavy metals, flame retardants, all kind of chemicals, dioxins, etc. If we assay the first 100 pollutants of the world that have been produced by 100 million of tons since the last World War, that were not existing before the last World War. If we assay the first 100 on 100,000, we find 50 in all of us. There is no one person in this room devoid of this kind of products. All the female breasts and male breasts are filled with DDT, which is an insecticide that was not existing before the 19th century. Dioxins we all have. PCBs, that means products inside this kind of electric cords. These products have been designed to be stable and to be toxic to one level or another of the ecosystem, like pesticides, or to be stable. I mean, it would have been stupid to invent an electric cord that would be soluble in water. So it's not soluble. So when it has been produced by 100 million tons, and when it goes into the body, then it plays the same game. It isolates the cells. And you know why we can stand up or we can be seated. It's not because we have skeletons, because the skeletons alone will fall. It's not because we have nerves and muscles, because if we die, we fall. It's because we have cell-cell communication, which is about 100 million times more sophisticated than the web. And this cell-cell communication system which makes us alive, which makes us more complicated than bacteria. Because if it would be 200 billion bacteria, like we are 200 billion human cells, we would be just black hole like the water on the soil, because we wouldn't have this communication system. So this communication system is driven by two things: the electrical system, the nervous system, and the chemical system, the hormonal system. And all the pollutants, including pesticides, are like sand in the system, and it inhibits cell-cell communication. It prevents cell-cell communication, and it gives all kinds of disease linked to cell-cell communication problems like cancer, nervous disease, hormone disease, immune disease, reproductive disease. And this is why we get so much chronic disease. It's not only due to GMOs. So if the DNA of GMOs can pass the intestine barrier, it's because they are very small pieces of molecules that are indicators of what's going on. We are sponges of our environment. That's why we have to be careful. And I wouldn't say that the DNA is a toxic compound, but it's a tracer of all the pesticides that could be in the GMO and all the metabolic problems that could be in the GMO due to the genetic engineering itself. Because when we eat DNA, we can absorb DNA, of course. And the